Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ultras 11. Last week we touched upon not introducing ourselves. Okay.
No.
You guys should know our names.
I was just looking at you just to see what
and
you're going to
know
say.
that he's married now. But anyways, last week we spoke about Real Madrid's future with Endrick. We talked about Xavi and Barcelona's future. This week we're going to talk about Bayern Munich's future. No, we're going to talk about Bayern Munich's future just because I think it would be fun to talk about, considering they dominated for so long and they find themselves in a weird position. But are they actually in a weird position? You know, like
they're a very weird team right now.
Yeah, so that's why cute little discussion about that. We're going to preview the European finals that are approaching soon. One that I really hope to be a part of.
Why are you laughing, Joe?
Because it's whatever. Real Madrid versus
you guys don't
Dortmund.
Yeah. Further than us.
Yeah, whatever, man. And Leverkusen.
Trying to make you feel better.
Leverkusen versus ATALANTA. Fuck you, Leverkusen. Anyways, and then we're just like last week. We did a team with Fergie and Pep's best 11, like combined, whatever. So this week we're gonna do a team with Ancelotti and Jose Mourinho. I think it'll be actually more fun.
That might be
just because, like, respectfully to Ferguson, he only coached one team for 25 years, which is great.
He's an overrated cunt. But at least this one here, it's a little bit more balanced. I like it. I get it. I like it. I don't gotta say nothing.
To start things off, we'll start off with the whole Bayern Munich discussion here. So they found themselves in a weird position that they didn't win one trophy. They went from dominating the league in 11 years? 10 years? 10 years.
Yeah.
Or 11?
11.
Was it 11?
Yeah.
Yes. So you could say this kind of came as a surprise and Leverkusen was like a revelation, but really was it a surprise given that last year it was Dortmund's title to lose? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, like, technically speaking, okay, obviously Bayern won it, but technically speaking, the warning signs of a fall of Bayern happened last year. Mm-hmm. Early exit from Champions League. Well, early in for their standard.
I'll say for them.
For their standard. Not in general, just an early exit in for their standard. Early exit of the League Cup. And then last game of the season, they won the trophy and secured it.
They had no control in that decision at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
It was all in Dortmund's hands.
Could have done whatever they wanted to do, but if Dortmund literally just won that game, or I think even tied that game. No, if they won that game, they ended up tying.
They had to win that game.
That would have been Dortmund's title, right? So the warning signs were clearly there. So what did Bayern Munich do? They stayed with Tuchel, and they ended up buying Harry Kane because they thought the problem was the fact that they didn't have an out-and-out number 9. Mm-hmm. So, Al, let's talk about Bayern Munich and what actually – do you think something went wrong this year, or do you think that this is just the natural end of a cycle of like a dynasty?
I mean, coming from first experience and, watching a team for 9 years dominate and, seeing a dynasty. And I get it. In that moment, you're like, we're actually never going to lose. Like, this is never going to end. Mm-hmm. This is, we're following the best team possible. And we're at the top and no one's even close to touching us. And then all of a sudden it's just like taken away from you and you just take it all for granted. You're like, fuck, man. I stopped even celebrating, some of those later titles because I was like, whatever, it
became a norm.
We're going to win this. You already knew at the beginning of the year, we're going to win it. And it's not you were just saying that. You genuinely knew that. And that was the same thing with Bayern. And, they went a little bit longer. They got to the 10. They made it over that. Like you said, last year, they barely made it. They didn't have any control of that in the end, other than all they had to do was just win their game and hope that Dortmund tied or lost. Because I'm pretty sure if Bayern ended up dropping points the last game, then Dortmund could have tied.
Yeah.
But it was like it all came down to pretty much what Dortmund did.
Yeah.
So Bayern didn't have that control. And no matter, what coach they had, who they keep bringing in to try to, keep that balance, because you've seen Juve do the same thing. When it's that time, like that end of an era, and, some of those, they may not be your superstars like Lewandowski was, and that's what they thought was the big problem. Oh, fuck, we sold Lewandowski. We never really addressed the problem. Yeah. Let's bring in Harry Kane. It's deeper than that. You have your core guys that over the whole run that you guys had now are starting to get older, starting to age out. Muller, people think that he's a good player, but he's nothing special, whatever. That guy is the heart and soul of that team.
It's true.
Like he really is a big part of that team, and people don't realize how much. No matter you have Musiala, who is just probably one of the best wonder kids right now, next to Bellingham.
Definitely.
He's up there, and yeah, okay, you have that, but he does, like, the one thing you don't have in that is the experience and just that football IQ that guys like Muller have. And I feel like, now you're starting to see that Bayern, like, these guys are starting to age out, which is normal. It's part of the process. Now it's just how quickly, they may not win it again next year. That's completely normal, but they can't start panicking like we've seen Juve do and have 4 coaches in 4 years.
Yeah.
You can't do that shit. You have to say, okay, guys, this is the plan. Now we have to move on. We can't think about, we want to get back to winning as fast as possible. We can't skip any steps. So that's what I feel like they have to start looking at now and be like, you know what? Accept it for what it is. Yeah, we still have Harry Kane. He's happy here once. We have a good young core. Now we just have to build something around it. Bring in the right, the guys with experience. Bring in, the right guys with the youth. Mix it all together, and hopefully you could try to build a new dynasty. You're never gonna continue off the old one. It's very rare that any team that you look at the past, no team has really ever done that. When the dynasty ends, that's it. You got to start fresh and start a whole new one.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing with dynasties, and when they come to an end, it's a matter of how you react to the ending of said era. I'm gonna go back to what you said with the coaching thing. You don't want to keep changing coaches like Juve did and stuff like that. They do have Thomas Tuchel right now. And there's a lot of indications that he's gone. I'm actually almost positive they said he's gone at the end of the year. Do you think this will be a mistake on their end if they get rid of Tuchel? Or do you actually think like maybe he was genuinely just the wrong guy for Bayern Munich and they need to find like the right coach for him?
Like, a part of me could say like, he might have been, just not the right fit for the team. But like looking at him and just, what he's done in the past, I feel like he's a good coach. He understands football. He knows what to do. It's just he came to Bayern now. No matter what coach you put there was gonna go through this. It's inevitable. It's just how quick it happened and everything. I get it with Tuchel, but you can't put too much on him. It's just like I would, really look at him. Look at the, as long as he still has the backing of the players and all that, I'd say continue with him because you got to start something. You got to grow something. I feel like he's a great guy to do it with. Like you've seen the success he had with Chelsea, with a team that at the group stages, everyone's like, okay, yeah, they're probably not going to make it out here. And when they did, people wanted to probably face Chelsea that year because they weren't looking at them like, oh my God, it's Chelsea. Like it was like, okay, that's probably one of the easier teams that we can face. Let's face them. They shut everybody up. He shut everybody up, took charge of that team and fucking won it with them over Man City, one of the best teams in the world at that time and at the time right now. So, like he has a very impressive resume, and he has good relationships with players because you've seen how highly players from that Chelsea team have talked about him and have said how great of a coach and how much they loved working with him. So for me, like, I get the reasoning and I get it all. Everyone, especially the fans, you want to make the fans happy. That doesn't always help the team. Sometimes you just have to tell the fans, shut the fuck up and let us work, because I feel like this might be more of like them listening to the fans and doing that to say like, hey, look, we lost.
Giving you what you want.
We did something. We're reacting. Now we're going to bring in this guy. And, we're going to start something new. And then if that doesn't work, then you're in this whole pickle where, okay, yeah, you have this guy. He's completely the wrong guy, and we should not continue with him. Yeah. And then you're going to bring in another coach next year. So for me, I'd give another year at least to Tuchel, and then you can kind of evaluate how he's doing, and if he's progressed from this season, if he's making any changes, the players are playing different, if he's gotten people playing better. That you kind of have to see as that goes. Unless the only reason I would say like that I would agree with him being sacked is if like a certain person became available and they were able to get him, that was better.
Who? I feel like because you said a certain person.
Well, like no, like a person that
do
would
you
fit,
have the name?
For me, like okay, in my head personally, that I feel like would fit that team already in the league, Xabi Alonso. Like that becomes, if he says he becomes available, I know you're overrated. Not super overrated, but right now for what he's doing and in that league, he has he played for Bayern, has a good relationship there. That becomes an actual option. Then I would say, hey, go for it, do it 100%. But other than that, I wouldn't. Who's their old coach that they signed? Nagelsmann. They said they want to bring him back. They're doing literally the same thing that Juve is doing. Stop going to the past.
I was going to say, like, my thing always is, I feel like every time you bring in a coach from the halfway mark in a season or something like that, like, it's almost as if they never really have a full guaranteed future. You know, like, you look at, like, look at how many coaches have come on as an interim halfway through the season and then like stayed for another year or whatever. It's very, very rarely a success. And I look at Roma and like we kind of did that in my head. I'm kind of saying like, hey, maybe De Rossi's the different one, or like, you know what I mean? But you look at even like a guy like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He came in, impressed the last half of the season. They extended him, and then it was 3 years of apparent torment for United fans, right? So now you look at Tuchel. Tuchel came in, who has a great resume, is a great coach on paper. Look at what he's done. He came in halfway through to an already successful Bayern because Nagelsmann didn't have them in a bad position. Made it through the group stage of Champions League untouched. I don't even think they conceded that year. First in the league, all these other things. And then Tuchel came in one after another. Everything started to like fall down. You know what I mean? Like it started crumbling. Barely winning the league in that year. And you just feel like maybe there's something to be said about coaches you're appointing like at that interim mark that, you know, they don't really ever become a coach. They're more of a motivation, you know? And like they'll never actually become a full coach because it's like, we started off on the wrong foot. You started off with something else in your head and I had to take it over, you know? Like, I don't know.
I feel like also people look at Tuchel now and be like, oh, like he's the guy that like, you know, ended that dynasty. He's the one that ruined it because, you know, look how we had, you know, 11 in a row and now and I came to an end. And like same thing, like people say that with Pirlo. Oh yeah, you've won 9 in a row and then he came, you know, inexperienced. What do you expect? Okay, but it was just the timing. Look at Inter, look at Milan at the time. Inter was won the year before. You know, they got very lucky. Juve got lucky that we ended up winning that. It was bound to happen no matter if you had Allegri, you had Pirlo. It doesn't matter who you have in charge. It's the same thing with Bayern. If Xabi Alonso was there, Ancelotti was there, it's bound to happen. You're bound to lose. And then what? You can't blame the coach and be like, oh, yeah, it's his fault because he didn't continue it. These things happen.
Dude, I'm a firm believer a lot of the time, too. Like, obviously, there's tactics coaches have that are better than other tactics and this and that. Their philosophies are better. Prime example is a guy like Pep Guardiola, but that's Pep Guardiola, who's a fucking mastermind of the sport. So not everybody has that mind. So I will look at you and say about 75% of coaches are just, they're very good at motivating. You know, like you have a tactic in place. When your tactic is failing, they resort to motivation. You know, and you look at a guy like Ancelotti, he literally has come out and said, he has his tactics. He says A, B, and C to his players, but these guys are world-class players. At the end of his speech, he always says the same thing. You guys know what to do. Go out and do what you do best. You know, like, and that's the thing. Like, he gives them the freedom. And a lot of the times, that's where it's like, you got to kind of find a coach that's going to match that energy of the players. And look at Xabi Alonso with Bayern Leverkusen. I will honestly look at you after playing Bayern Leverkusen twice. Both games, did they physically dominate us in possession? Yes. But Roma's not anywhere where we're supposed to be. We barely have a bench, man. So it's not that impressive of a feat, but I will say one thing. He is able to motivate his players enough that they will keep fucking running at you for a full 90 plus minutes. And I think that in itself is what separates a coach to a great coach. You know what I mean? And I think that's what Bayern Munich needs because they have the players. They definitely have the financial backing 100%. To get whatever player they want and the appeal of Bayern Munich. It's just finding the coach now that's able to get it out of them and motivate them. And Tuchel almost has that same cut of cloth as like a Mourinho, where it's like, listen, I'm doing my best as a coach. I'm doing what I have to do, blah, blah, blah. But it falls on you guys. And he's not afraid to point the blame and say, oh, these players are fucking checked out, you know? And you've seen Tuchel say that this year. These players don't react to what he says. And he's calling them out publicly, stuff like Mourinho would do. And it's, I think right now, Bayern needs that coach that's kind of, you know, in that man management section, not rather than that.
I couldn't agree more with that. And it's the funny thing is it's all like the Bayern and the fans that watch the Bundesliga that are going for his head and calling him like, oh, that he basically fucking fumbled it and you know they should have won it no matter what. You know, they're far clear from like the competition, but then also the ones that get pissed off when people call it a farmers league and it's only Bayern Munich. You know what I mean? Like they're basically calling it a farmers league, saying that Bayern's the only good team, and they still ended up losing. But then you look at the big picture, and Dortmund's in a UCL final. Bayer Leverkusen is in a Europa League final. So these are two German teams already right there in a final, in a European final. Bayern was very close, lost in the semis, which very controversial game.
I was just about to say controversial.
Could have been a double German, all German final in Champions League, and then you have Leverkusen also in Europa League. So I mean, Germany's clearly doing something while, under the radar, while no one's really paying attention. And they're actually, producing very good teams.
Well, that's what I was going to actually ask you next.
Competition going up. What do you expect?
I was going to say, do you actually think too, like besides obviously the dynasty coming to an end for Bayern Munich, do you think the league itself is actually picking up and getting better as well?
Yes, Joe, 100%. They're getting better, and it's the extra motivation that really pushes a lot of these teams when they look at it. And same thing, you saw it too firsthand with Juve. Once teams saw that we had weaknesses and we weren't that dominant team that was going to go, either they were going to come play at our home or we were going to go to theirs and just outplay them and end up winning, whether it was a 1-0 in the 90th minute or just dominate the game. It's not like that anymore. A lot of that, like that shit there, once teams see that, they're like, okay, yo, they're weak. We got to fucking capitalize them. Let's go fucking hard on them. They have weaknesses. Let's show what their weaknesses are.
Yeah.
And now a lot of teams are doing that. And you're seeing a lot of these teams that they're not scared of Bayern anymore. Dude, oh my God, what team was? I remember I looked at the standings and I was like, what the fuck in Bundesliga? Was it Stuttgart? They're fucking
Stuttgart.
third place.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say.
I was like, man, what? Like they were ahead of Dortmund.
Yeah, yes, that's Stuttgart.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, dude, you see the competition? It's really like fucking rumbling over there, man. It's completely changing.
Well,
and
that's the thing, man. Like
the same as it's been in Italy.
With you look at like the leagues, like, and this is why I always say, like, a lot of people will look at you and say, like, obviously Prem is the powerhouse of the world, like financially speaking, and like entertainment wise, stuff like that. Of course, 100% you are correct. I won't argue that. But when you look at all these other leagues, like that's the thing. Everyone will say, "Oh, La Liga, it's a two horse race." When Barcelona and Real Madrid, those are the only relevant teams. Atletico is a dark horse. Okay, sure, maybe. Bundesliga only has Bayern. Liga only has PSG.
Yeah.
Italy only has Juve. Oh, Juve fell off. That's really it. Oh, now there's Inter, maybe, like whatever. But when you actually look at what every other league is doing, every other league obviously had that dynasty where two teams or a team dominated. But now you start to see all the mid-table teams or even those cusp of Champions League teams all take a look, take a step back and say, yo, we'll never compete with them financially unless we're always in the Champions League. So let's start developing our own talent. Let's start making these shady deals in a regard. Like, I'm going to get like Bologna signing Joshua Zirkzee, for fuck's sakes. Hey, listen, we'll take him from you, 2-year loan or whatever it was, option to buy at 14 mil. Cause hey, he's your third or fourth string striker, Bayern Munich. You're never going to play him. Get him. And now look at a guy like Joshua Zirkzee. You know, like all the smaller teams, well, in quotations, smaller teams are looking and going with that. Dortmund has made a fucking living off of being a relevant team in Germany by getting the scraps and the garbage of these top teams and turning them into fucking icons. And now you see that in Bundesliga, how that's happening too. Bayern Leverkusen, you know, Florian Wirtz. I hate him now because they beat Roma.
We understand.
But Florian Wirtz is very fucking special. They get rid of Kai Havertz, and this guy was right there just knocking on the door, waiting, and he just fucking came in big-dicked, and he's just a god over there. Jonathan Tah, he's what, like 30-something years old, and now he's becoming relevant? Like, I don't even think Bayern Leverkusen has a proper real goalie at this point, but somehow they got all their youngsters. They did shady deals with the biggest teams in the world, and now look how good they are. Jeremy Frimpong, where is he from? City.
Yeah.
They decided we didn't need him because we have great players. We'll buy another one. And now look, he's one of the best right wing backs in the world, even though I hate him. And I'd fucking probably tear his Achilles.
You gotta
respect it. Like, that's how it is.
That's what it is right now. He's been phenomenal all season. Even last season too. Everyone thought, okay, whatever. It's one season. Let's just see. He got even better this year. And he's a guy I can see whether it's this summer or if he stays another year next year, making a move to a big team.
Yeah. Oh, well, he definitely
easily see that happen.
He definitely is.
But I just think now, I think in the next, maybe not market wise, and you might not see them around as much. But I think the years leading up now, maybe the next 5 years, you're really going to see a big shift and change, and you're going to see a lot of dominance coming from Italy and coming from Germany.
I agree.
Two leagues where everyone counted out, especially the Prem, saying, "Oh, they're both farmer leagues." But you're looking at it last year. Look how much Italy dominated all three competitions. In the semifinals of Champions League, out of 4 teams, Italy had 3. That's insane. Okay, but still, But Joe,
respectfully, two teams were cheated.
Two of them, and I mean, the fucking Inter and Milan had to play each other in the semis. Like, that would have been an amazing final. Like, imagine that as a final. Yeah, then in Europa League, you had Roma going to the final. Okay, again, they didn't win, but they still got there.
We were cheated
in the semifinals. Both of us were there. Our teams were there. Juve ended up getting kicked out by Sevilla, and Sevilla ended up winning it.
And we ended up.
But again, look at the teams. You're not seeing Liverpool and West Ham over there, or whatever. West Ham was in Conference League last year, but you're not seeing these other English teams and whatever going to a semifinal. Whether they're winning or losing doesn't matter. They're not making those runs that Italian teams are. And now you're seeing Germany do the same thing this year.
That's the thing, right? I just feel like money could only bring you so far. Right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, obviously, these
leagues are both proving it, man.
Like the EPL, it's a great league. It's entertaining. It's fantastic. I won't take away from that. But there's only so much money you could be throwing at things, you know? And Pep has really gone to that league and just shown, like, hey, guys really aren't anything special. Like, obviously, you have the title race right now. It's coming down to that last game that they're playing this week, or this weekend. I think it is the last game. Obviously, it comes down to that between Arsenal and City. Mm-hmm. But you look at even Arsenal. Out of that whole squad, one guy's homegrown, and that's Saka. And obviously, I'm not going to take anything away from his ability.
Overrated.
But you know what I mean? Like,
that's a whole nother episode.
On. Like, that's another thing. And then you look at City. Obviously, you have Foden, who's homegrown. But other than that, who else is homegrown there? Mm-hmm. So it goes to show, like that's the difference. And you can only keep throwing money so much, right? Until, like, you hit a point, and even Real Madrid, who's one of the biggest spenders in the world, known to spend fucking huge money. Look at where their investments go, though. A lot of the time, it's youngsters. Look at when they bought a guy like Sergio Ramos. They bought him for what? I think it was like 12, 13 million from Sevilla. You know, like chump change, because they actually took the time, looked at a youngster, picked him up, developed him, whatever it was. You know, and that, I think, will be the difference, and why I think the Prem, it's not a sustainable system until they start to do something with their homegrown talent, because there are a lot of talented players. There really is a lot of talented youngsters. You just don't see it because they rather spend the money on this big name.
Joe, I mean,
because it's a market.
City,
it's a business.
Prime example. Look at the money City throws at all these different guys, and then you see a guy this year that they got rid of, sold to one of their rivals, Palmer. You watch that kid play, and, like, I'm not just saying this just because, like he's a generational player. Yeah, like, sometimes I watch him, and some of the stuff, the way he moves, and the way, like, his feet move, I'm like, yo, this guy's not English. English players don't move like this.
I agree, dude.
He's not English.
He gives me glimpses of, like, David Silva, Bernardo Silva,
man.
like
he's,
that.
He's very silky, very smooth, and, like, you just look and you're like, hey, that was a City product. And that they sold, they didn't even care to look for. They knew how good he was, and they were like, yeah, okay, whatever. And they sold him off because they know that they're just going to go buy whoever the fuck they want. If they need a replacement for De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva, whoever they fucking need to cover, they'll just go and buy somebody. They know that that's very clear for them. Yeah. So it sucks to see because, okay, that's one guy, we saw, but how many other guys are in these other teams' academies that, you know, are actually good and just not given the opportunity by their team because instead of the team, you know, risking and saying, okay, yeah, you know, we'll give that guy a chance. Or like, no, we can't take a risk. Yeah. Hey, this guy had half a good season. He's valued at 60 mil. That's reasonable. Let's pay the 60 mil and bring him in. Yeah. And then the guy just flops.
I agree, man. Well, I completely agree. It's and that's where I think the other leagues like Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A, even Liga is really tough, man. Yeah. Liga is really, really tough. I think the problem with them was their reliance on PSG to accomplish like continental glory. I think Ligue 1 could be better than it is because, again, they have generational players developed there and stuff like that. It's just a matter of keeping it.
It's exactly, but it's literally like you just said. They put too much reliance on PSG that they kind of just sat back and kind of waited. They didn't really take those steps and be like, "Okay, let's prepare just in case PSG actually doesn't do anything like they're not going to." Let's prepare ourselves and, let's have let's start developing certain guys and, just in case, because, we can't rely on them. We got to focus on ourselves and try to build something from that.
Now that Mbappe's leaving, I'm very interested. Maybe we'll talk about that next week, actually. But regardless, quickly, my last little point here, and then we'll switch over. I'm very curious to see what happens next year with Ligue 1. Yeah. Simply because Mbappe's gone. I want to see, because now maybe it'll give these other teams the fucking drive they need to actually try and rival against PSG. and say, no, fuck you guys, you aren't that special. Like, let's go.
But then you have also PSG coming out and saying, hey, we're saving 400 mil off Mbappe. That money is gonna go all into the market, and we're gonna spend it on 3 to 4 players. So who they're gonna spend it on? 400 mil split between 4. You're spending 100 mil each on a player. Who the fuck are you bringing in? You're either overpaying for somebody, or they're gonna be going for big names.
That could be a huge thing too, man.
No, they're definitely gonna be overpaying, Joe, 100%. But they're gonna be bringing in big names that made this value because they scored, 3 goals and they scored a bicycle kick, and they're like, yo, that guy's fucking sick, 100 mil. It is actually
pretty funny seeing like on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it, like all these names linked with PSG. Oh, Mbappe's gone, so Osimhen's going there.
Everybody.
Xerxes going there. Leao's going
Theo's
there.
linked there.
Yeah, dude, the amount of names of these unreal talents I'm seeing linked with PSG, it's like, first off, I want to say like PSG, now that like Xavi Simons is going back there too. That's already a kind of scary front three with Gonzalo Ramos, Ousmane Dembele, and Xavi Simons. Who you're gonna? Oh, they also have that guy Barcola, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know if he's going back to England because there's rumors of that. But like right there, that's 4 attackers that are all very good, could play anywhere across the front three. I don't know. Regardless, switching over, let's talk about, because we did kind of overextend that, which is fine. We don't care.
There's a lot to say about Bayern.
We had a lot to say. Bayern Munich is a fun topic always.
Always.
Let's give a little preview to Dortmund and Real Madrid, and Leverkusen and Atalanta. You know what? Let's rip the Band-Aid off. I'm going to talk about Leverkusen and Atalanta first. And usually I'll ask you, but I'm going to just
jump right into
it right away.
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
I'm going to come out and say one thing about Leverkusen. I do think they are a good team. Did they dominate Roma over 2 legs? Yes. The stats will show you that. If you watch the game, it'll show you that. Did we maybe... First leg, we got a little unfortunate with missed opportunities, like a fucking free header a yard away from the goal. And Lukaku, same thing. And Lukaku, another. But regardless, we won't talk about missed opportunities. What I will say is they're not as they're intimidating. They have a fucking menacing counterattack because the speed that those guys operate at is fucking crazy. It was fucking absurd seeing them counter. It obviously punishes the shit out of a team like Roma because we're slow. That's the biggest thing, is we're a possession-based team. The way we're built, we're very slow and unathletic in certain regards. Like Dybala, our best player, he's not fast at all.
Yeah.
He has like minus fucking 75 pace, and he's just really technically gifted, So obviously the counter would dominate us, and their ability to maintain possession is great. But I could actually look at you and say, I'm not saying Atalanta wins, but I think this is a very, very even matchup with Atalanta and Leverkusen, because Atalanta's nonstop down your throat for 90 plus fucking minutes. Even if they're winning, Joe, they will still fucking press the attack.
Play them next week.
Even when they're losing, same thing. Like Atalanta's a very menacing team, and especially when Atalanta's in form, Liverpool, they dig down Liverpool at Anfield.
Scary team, dude.
We played against them this weekend. They should have won, honestly, at least 6-8-1. And I'm not being dramatic. There was 3 posts. They missed the net twice on an open net, which was kind of embarrassing because Colt Miners is worth 80 mil, and he misses an open net. Weird flex.
I know, we're trying to sign him for 60 million.
Yeah, don't do it. No, I'm kidding. Do it because he's actually fucking good too. But I do think, regardless of that, Atalanta versus Leverkusen is the perfect matchup given the overall athleticism of both teams, the high energy, high work ethic. I don't know what the fuck they feed those guys at Atalanta and how the fuck they move like that. They don't even look like they're fast. Jim City looks like he's the slowest guy ever. He looks like just some guy that farts while he plays. He looks like he just had a panino before the game. He looks stupid. Then you have Toloi, who just walks around like a caveman with no neck, and he's just but he's a fucking wall. And it's that against Leverkusen, it's gonna be extremely entertaining. And I guarantee you that will be a fucking really high scoring final, and probably more entertaining than Real Madrid versus Dortmund. Honestly and truthfully, I know that's a bold claim.
No, I
just
can
feel
get behind that. I can see that.
That's gonna be no defense. That's just pure vibes.
Yeah,
that's just gonna be absurd, absurd. Yeah, you want to say anything about that?
Well, I mean, I feel like you fucking covered everything there. Everything that I was gonna say.
Do you want to talk about? You could just switch to Dortmund and Real Madrid.
I wanted to. Now I'm trying to think of what I wanted to add. I was literally, honestly, dude, I think you stole every word out of my mouth about that game, because I was literally gonna say about that's out of all the like the finals that we've seen in the last probably 5 years at least. I'm not gonna go back, so I'm not gonna start thinking about longer than that. But this is probably the most like evenly matched game I'm looking at, and I'm like, I don't know who wins this. Like other years, I'm looking at no matter obviously. You're in the final. You're a good team. You didn't just get there. You didn't just get there by fluke. The ball's round. It's 90 minutes. Anything can happen. Yeah. But every game you're looking at, you're like, yeah, okay, this team's gonna win. Yeah, okay, this team's gonna win. This final, this Europa League final, man. I know how good your Bayer Leverkusen is, but when Gasperini gets going and he's got his team playing the way he wants and the way like just getting the best out of his players, they're a fucking scary team. Like I am honestly, we're in a final. Yay, we can win a trophy this year. Not excited about it, especially coming up against them. Yeah. I was really hoping Fiorentina, not taking away from Fiorentina because we probably lose that game too. But Atalanta is just like, dude, like you said, you saw it firsthand. You watched it fucking yesterday. Yeah. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're a fucking scary team, man. And if Bayer Leverkusen, I don't think they're one of the teams that kind of underestimate who they're playing because people underestimated them, and look where that got them. So I don't think that they're going to be they're a team to start doing that now. But I agree with you. It's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be really just kind of at the end if someone gets like a late goal to push them over the line, or it's going to go right. It's going to go to penalties and be decided like that. I genuinely think it's going to be a very tight game.
Penalties, man. I'm not even kidding. Like,
but I can also see like a fucking Patrick Schick come in like the 97th minute and score. No. Or Frimpong score off a corner.
If Frimpong scores, I'll actually fly to Dublin and fucking break it. I hate Frimpong. I'm sorry, guys.
But
he is so arrogant.
Tell me you can't see these things happen. Like I can see, I can 100% see like a 3-3 and it going to shootouts. Yeah. But I can also see it being 1-1 or 2-2, and then 97th minute they score the game-winning goal, and Bayer Leverkusen ends up winning it. But that game I can see it's going to be a very even game. Personally, Bayern ends up winning fucking 7-0. We're both completely wrong.
I hope Atalanta wins it. And for selfish reasons, I hope they win it.
For unselfish reasons, Italian team, I'm not going to be it's not my team. I'll support them. Any team other than Inter, I'll support it in European competitions. I'll come by. I'm not gonna hide it. I'll tell you.
No, I'm only saying
with Lazio.
Lazio's in the final, you're not gonna support them. I want them to win. I found out yesterday that Roma Ultras and Atalanta Ultras actually hate each other. Oh. Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought we were like mates, but apparently we hate each other because they stole a banner once from us. I'm not kidding.
Why do you guys get everything stolen from you guys?
I don't know. I really just put locks on your doors, guys.
A fucking plant.
Yeah, we're all tree over the place apparently with getting robbed. So I don't know. Maybe it's an us problem.
But you still want Atalanta to win.
But I still do want Atalanta to win. Because if they win, they're going to finish in the 5th spot in Italy.
I know why you.
So then that means the 6th place team
ends up getting that. And
that's barring.
That's why Joe. That's
barring. We have 2 games left in the season. I don't even know who we play. I think it's like Empoli and somebody else. Gonna check quickly right now. Where's Roma? Cheers.
No, you guys, I honestly hope you guys.
We played Genoa and Empoli, so hopefully we win those last 2 games, which we should, because we could actually sleep.
I hope you guys finish 7th.
I'll actually stab you because Lazio finishes above us then, and I will. I'm not kidding. I don't know if my heart could take that anymore because
another year of Lazio finishing above you. I've been
through the fucking ringer with this fucking shit, and I am very. Very tired of it.
Even before this podcast started, I think it was what 3 years ago when you first said it. You're like, if Lazio finishes above us, I'm not going to watch any more soccer. The last 3 years they have been finishing above you, and you're still watching.
Guys, I'm starting to learn. I like to think I have knowledge on the sport and the game, and like I could call certain things, and I'm very like whatever. Like I called Chelsea this weekend coming back from 2-1 down. Other side, my guys, game's done. Chelsea's winning at 3-2. Don't worry. But then I make some fucking claims and I question myself. Like me, I concocted a whole theory about PSG and why they're going to win it. I thought it was scripted.
Yeah, that's let's circle back to that one now.
There's that. There's me saying Roma always has to finish above Lazio. We beat them finally after how many years?
I think ever since you said that statement, they haven't finished above them.
That's the thing. It's like everything I say like it's opposite.
He's literally Joe Mush.
I say like that guy that Chelsea signed, the Brazilian winger, Estavio,
Yeah.
he's going to be better than Endrick.
No, watch.
Now watching, give it another year, he tears his ACL. You don't even hear about him anymore. I'm just a curse.
He's like that guy Diego that was on Juve.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm just not going to say stuff, and I'm just going to analyze what is given in front of me, and that's it. No more fucking predictions for me.
That's a good idea. But now that we're here, I want to hear your prediction for the Champions League final. What do you think? Hey, maybe we start giving it up after this week.
Yeah, okay, after this week, fine.
Still want to hear your predictions.
Yeah, because I don't want to talk. After this is done, league and whatever.
Yeah, then no more.
That's full Euro mode, Joes.
Yep.
I can't concentrate. I don't know if we'll be able to do the podcast anymore. I'm already losing my mind because my TV's not working properly in my garage. It's like
4 seconds delayed. Joe's like, nope, can't watch it here.
I'm not kidding. I'm debating if I should order a new TV. But anyways, that's besides the point.
Hey, Pear just won a 70-inch if you want to buy it off him.
Did he actually?
Off the steak on Friday.
I'm going to ask him to buy it off him, actually.
You got a new TV for the Euro?
I'm going to ask him. Anyways.
The TV's going to be the size of your garage.
I don't care.
At nighttime, you're watching TV. They lights up the whole neighborhood. What the fuck's going on over there?
He actually won it. That means he'll take like $200.
I can't see.
You gotta figure it out. I gotta figure that out soon. So I gotta
before you figure that out.
Yeah. Before we figure that out, let's talk about
what's your finals prediction for Champions League?
Dortmund versus Real Madrid. Listen, I would love that underdog story.
I'm not asking what you want, what you love. I want to know what you think's gonna happen. I want to know.
Real Madrid wins. I think Real Madrid wins. I think the pedigree of constantly being in that position and
they definitely have the DNA.
Yeah, like having that DNA, the team they have, the everything. Real Madrid. I think they're gonna win, and I know they're the favorites. Oh, you're predicting the fucking favor, you nerd. Yeah, I guess. That's just the way it is. Like I said it from the beginning. You could give me a half fucking Real Madrid team, and I'd still put them as a finalist for a Champions League game. And I've always said something like that. Like it's their DNA. You don't write them off. Like they're built for this. Like they were created to be entertainment of the Champions League.
They're literally a Champions League team.
Yeah, like there's a reason why they have the most Champions League. They don't get that because they just vibed out hard.
You're not wrong, man. You raised some very strong points, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you.
Fuck off
on what I think, Joe. I'm gonna pull a you, and I'm gonna say, yeah, hey, Real Madrid, they're Mr. Champions League. They dominate the fucking competition every year. It's always Real Madrid, but they have not lost in a final in a very long time, which obviously very good and strong stat for them because they're very good at finals.
Yeah.
Unlike my team, we go to a lot of finals, been to 11, only won 2 of them, so. Not that impressive, you're not going to throw that on your jersey, on your sleeve.
No, I would be proud.
Yeah, but that different team, different expectations. You guys will put a silver star on your jersey for fuck's sakes.
I celebrate that almost 6th in coefficients.
No big deal.
No big deal. 6th in the world coefficients. Didn't win any trophies in the meantime, but
hey, we're up here, baby. No one else is
top 10.
No, but for the final. I don't know, a part of me, I could be completely wrong. I could be pulling a you and just giving PSG their flowers and they're just fucking fuck up like every other year. But I just genuinely think that it's just written. It's too perfect. You look at Madrid, it's not like they're a team that just dominates. You watch the games and they look like they're going to lose every fucking game and they score in the 97th minute. They should have lost against City. They didn't. Not take anything. Everyone would chirp them, whatever. Hey, they still got the job. They got the job done. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's Juve's fucking saying?
Yeah.
Fino alla fine. Until the end, the game's not done. Anything can fucking happen. You could be losing 2-0. You could be losing 2-0. You end up winning 3-2. Mm-hmm. It's just whoever doesn't give up until the end. That's all it comes down to. So yeah, Madrid's annoying like that. That you can't just, even if you're up fucking a goal, 2 goals, you can't stop playing because they will find a way and they'll come at. They'll score 2 goals, 3 goals, whatever the fuck it is to get them in that lead very quickly. In a blink of an eye, you won't even realize it happened. So, yeah, you got to be careful, but I don't know. Something with this Dortmund team and this final, I can really see Madrid finally losing a final and not actually winning Champions League for once and seeing an underdog actually take it and win.
Honestly, I love
genuinely that. I'm not just saying I want to see that. I'm going to be putting money like Fajoli on this game, and I'm going to do exactly what I've just said. But I'm doing it. I don't give a fuck, man. I am owning it, dude. You know what? Pissed me off a couple weeks ago when you brought it up. it did hurt a little bit, but my baby Angel's gonna be back soon.
It's true. Yeah.
May 20th, he's done. Learned from his mistakes.
May 20th, day after my friend's crazy party.
Yeah, no big deal. Suspension's done. I don't know, man. Things just happened on a coincidence or it's meant to be. You guys are celebrating what is it? Not Canada Day? What is it? Victoria Day. It's Victoria Day this weekend. You guys celebrate Victoria Day? I'm celebrating Fagioli Day.
I'm actually celebrating my brother's birthday on the 20th of May.
Yeah, no, but what's bigger, your brother's birthday or Fagioli coming
No,
back?
I agree. Probably Fagioli coming back because he could be maybe get called up to the Euros.
Maybe. Who knows?
Slim
That's
pickings, but maybe
2 games to show what he's got. I think he
that's all
can do
you
it
need,
too.
technically speaking.
I don't know how we got into Fagioli so hard, but
Yeah, anyways,
back to the Champions League final.
Yeah, no, I
That
wish.
Fagioli's not playing in.
I do wish you're right though.
Dortmund. I'm gonna say, hey, we're gonna come back on this episode,
Hey,
and you're gonna be like, either you're gonna talk shit about me and say, hey,
No, I wouldn't talk
you
shit.
pulled a Jose,
I will probably
Fuck
say
you.
that part, so I trick
Yeah.
myself.
but I genuinely think we're gonna come back on that episode. I'm gonna be arms up like Bellingo because he fucking choked it and fucking lost.
He did choke.
Ballon d'Or winner. Get out
No,
of here,
give me a
dude.
break, dude.
The fact that
I'm
he's number
sorry.
one in the ratings, poof,
I really think
that's a
he's-
whole topic, I think,
Yeah.
for another
Yeah,
episode
I think he's
that we have to
overrated.
talk about that whole ranking system because that's fucked.
We'll get over.
And I really don't. That's another reason I don't want to see Madrid win, just so people have that backing of, yeah, no, he deserves. He won the Champions League. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Are you insane or are you stupid?
Jude Bellingham is a fraud. It should be Jude Fraudlingham. Fraudlingham. Whatever. Anyways. Yeah, no, we talked about that stuff. We did a little We're not going to get into logistics of like analysis of everything. We're going to jump into this team.
Going right to the
Yeah,
Okay,
because this is
Okay.
fun. I
know,
enjoy
know.
that.
I do agree.
So I will obviously lead the way
Mhm.
with this wizardry because I have something pulled up just because little reminders, we obviously freestyle it. So we're doing Jose Mourinho's best 11 versus Carlo Ancelotti's best 11. To start things off, of course, we will start with the goalies. And it's a bit of a tricky one with the goalies because they both had the honor of coaching a guy like Iker Casillas.
Yeah.
So to make it obviously different, because we're not just going to say, because even though we're probably both going to agree on Casillas,
Mhm.
and I should just leave it at that, I'm going to say Peter Cech as well.
Okay.
Even though I'm almost positive Ancelotti coach. Wait, did Ancelotti coach Chelsea? No, sorry. I'm thinking of another fat Italian. I'm kidding. Ancelotti, you're not fat. You're never fat. I love you. I'm sorry that I even said
Think
that.
about another fat Italian.
I'm sorry. Okay.
So if Ancelotti ever listens to this
No,
podcast, he's gonna be pissed at
No,
you,
but I
dude.
hope he loves me because of all the praise I give him. But
No.
anyways,
he's just gonna hear this one part of the
I know,
episode.
I
What a
called him-
fucking dickhead!
he's gonna message me or something. That'd be sick. If Ancelotti actually messaged me about it, that'd be
Just
sick.
chirping, calling you out. Hey,
Calls me a fat
I love
Italian.
you. Thank you so much for this.
You fucking receding hairline fat pig. Why are you calling me fat? I love you so
I
much.
love you. Repost.
Thanks, Dad. Anyways, so yeah. So the two goalies we're gonna go with is Peter Cech or Iker Casillas. Iker Casillas.
Yeah, you can't even argue that, man. One wore a helmet his whole career, and the other one was the second best goalie of the world. So that kind of answers that question for you.
I actually could have said Buffon as well.
Yeah, but then
'Cause Ancelotti
Joe,
did, but that's
then
baby
then you're really gonna just close the door. It's not even part of the conversation.
and that's the thing. It's also it's baby Buffon we would talk about, and I don't really want to do the whole Casillas Buffon debate ever because it's
Hey, only one of them wore the other one's jersey, so and that answers that question.
yeah, exactly.
And tweeted out hashtag the great one.
And another one came out and said he's gay on Instagram. On Twitter.
That was a whole like weird.
He was hacked.
I think he was. I think
still knows
I think
about
he
Puyo.
didn't. I think he didn't realize about what like how to translate things properly, and I think he was just trying it out, and then it's like, yeah, let me just tweet it instead of getting someone to read it through, maybe read it over, double check it.
Didn't realize it doesn't mean happy all over the world.
Yeah.
It means other things. Anyways, all right. Switching over to the right back position. I think this is a great fucking debate, actually.
I feel like a lot of these positions are going to be because they've
Yeah,
they both,
I was gonna say
they
both these
actually
coaches. Like this
coached,
will be a fun one because these
last week we were
coaches,
comparing fucking Danny
Gary
Alves and
Neville.
fucking Gary Neville. Ooh, I
Paul
wonder how that's
Scholes and
gonna
his
be.
fucking nip slip that he had compared to somebody else.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so right back we got Cafu
Mhm.
or Javier Zanetti. Fuck, buddy. You could even say Sergio Ramos. No, we're not going to.
No,
We're
no,
gonna
no.
keep him center back.
Keep him
That was
center.
probably
Keep him center. This is already tough as
Yeah,
itself.
Zanetti.
Cafu or
Cafu.
Zanetti? Fuck, that's probably like the only Inter player that I actually like and respect. Well, I wouldn't say fully respect because I think they're all scummy, but I'll say respect. I think I'm still gonna go Cafu though. At the end of the day, I'm building a team, and those are my options. Like I think I'm always gonna be leaning towards Cafu, man. He was just such a complete player, and everything he did. I know, Zanetti can almost do pretty much the exact same thing, but I think Cafu could have done a little bit more, and he did, and he showed that throughout his career. So I'll take Cafu.
I'm gonna say Cafu as well.
Yeah,
I love Zanetti. Yeah, everyone knows my hard on for Cafu. It's a Roma legend. Come on,
it's the only legend Roma has. Obviously, you're gonna choose him.
Probably not the only legend we have, but anyways, yeah, no, it's a no-brainer for me. Like again, I love Zanetti, like gentleman of the game. He looks like he could still fucking play and play very well too. But like when you compare the two to each other, man, Cafu
one took
was
steroids and one didn't. So
yeah, like that is also probably the only explainable thing for Zanetti and why he was able to run that much.
Dude, shut the fuck up. I love him. Give him everything that he achieved a lot as a player. But motherfucker, a guy was at 42 years old. Yeah. He was running faster than on the wing, not in the middle where it's he was running on the wing, up and down the field, faster than like 18-year-olds. Like, dude, shut up. I get one guy, two guys, but when you're running by everybody in the fucking league, relax. Like you're on some shit.
There was some sort of what's the word I'm looking for?
Steroids?
Steroid era.
Performance enhancing drugs? Era. Oh, that was his steroid era was his career.
Then we're gonna go center backs. Okay. Sergio Ramos. We're gonna go like right into this. Mm-hmm. Sergio Ramos, or is it racist if I say Nesta?
Oh, no.
But I'm trying to think of other great players that Ancelotti coached as well.
No.
And I think like that Milan defense was probably one of the best of their
I was gonna say
that he ever had.
You're gonna fucking say
it's either I say that. It's either I say that or Real Madrid.
Robbie Keane.
Like I feel like those are his best eras. So okay, Sergio Ramos or Nesta. I'm not gonna say Maldini because Maldini everyone chooses him over whoever.
Yeah, that was a smart play there. I think I'm on that call right there. He's the second best center back in the world for me. I'm going Sergio Ramos over Nesta. Again, I'm building a team, and those guys. I would love to have both of them, but if Maldini's the other option, hey, I'm Italian, but I'm not stupid, Joe. Sergio Ramos for me, he's right up there, right behind Maldini. Maldini will always be my number one. Man. It's going to be very hard to pass Maldini, but Sergio Ramos is right there, man. He revolutionized that position. He did things that center back shouldn't be doing, and he did, and he also still defended like a fucking animal, made sure you weren't getting by him.
It's just really tough for me because when I think of Nesta, I also think of what could have been.
Yeah.
And you can't live like that. You can't think like that either, right? So it's like, then by that merit, it's Sergio Ramos. Yeah. But when Nesta was fit, man, like,
yeah, I know.
That's the definition of a defender, right?
Looking as a full career, you're building a team. Yeah, those guys, that's an option to fill one position. Who are you taking out of those two guys? I'm gonna agree with you. I'm sorry, Nesta. I really do love you. I think Joe, I love Nesta.
You should get your flowers one day, but I'm going to give that as well to Sergio Ramos. I'm not that blinded by Italian bias.
But in the day, you start thinking about it too. You're like, dude, you look at you just quickly. You think of like top 3 Italian center backs. For me, Nesta not even that top 3.
Yeah, which sucks because it literally falls back insane. On the fact that he was injury plagued.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because if
and the fact really that Italy have had a lot of great defenders. It's not like we had 3 defenders in our whole thing and like, oh, buddy, those guys there you couldn't get. Italy had a lot of great defenders, which is a very good problem to have.
Yeah,
it just sucks for him because hey, you know what? Well, yeah, with his injuries and all that, he's not going to be up there and remembered as much as some of these other guys, but. He was still a fucking phenomenal player when he was on his day.
No,
guy shut down Messi, shut down all these superstars. And he was a very fucking tough guy to play against.
Yeah. Next center back. This one was tough. Is tough for me to choose right now because it's like, who do I go with? Because they had so many, and I feel like if you don't put thing in this part, Maldini, then you have to put him left back. But then that also takes away from the other great left backs that were just through and through left backs, right?
Put him center back.
Yeah, but then it's obvious you're going to choose Maldini. Yeah, nobody touches Maldini.
Give me the options.
Okay, you know what? We'll do a Mega Man of Mourinho's guys, okay? Because that'll compete with Maldini in my world, at least. So, Maldini or John Terry, Ricardo Carvalho, Pepe, Lucio. Who else did he have?
Materazzi.
Materazzi. Walter Samuel, Cordoba,
Alex. Okay,
that's
so
it. That's
Maldini.
it. Yeah. So Maldini
Yeah.
still. Okay. Cheers.
No, one of those guys, or even three of those guys put together, are better.
All
than
those
Maldini.
guys put together. You take their strongest attribute, give it to them. Whatever. Build a
Maldini's-
super
Maldini's
defender.
still better.
It would still maybe become equal to Maldini.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to combine Nesta and Sergio Ramos, then yes, you have Maldini.
But
But
Ramos already my one center back, and Maldini's my other one. So
deal. I agree. Maldini over literally everybody because that man is the embodiment of Jesus on defense.
Mhm.
Left back, we have a couple we could go with here. We could go Philly Lam.
Mhm.
We could go Marcelo.
Mhm.
We could go Ashley Cole. So for the sake of
So you can give me those three options there, and for my choice, I mean, it's pretty simple. Going to be Marcelo.
well, that's why I was gonna take Marcelo out of it.
Okay, take Marcelo.
I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna do Philip Lahm with Bayern Munich when Ancelotti was there,
Yeah.
and then Ashley Cole for Chelsea.
Okay, I'll do
Mourinho.
Philip Lahm then.
Okay, so wait, you would have chosen Marcelo over all three?
Yeah, easily. Marcelo's the best left back I think that I've ever played. I think he was better than Roberto Carlos.
I will not disagree with you.
Like for
I
me,
will not disagree with you.
I don't know. People can call me stupid, call me whatever you want. The way Marcelo revolutionized that position, and people called him on his, he can't defend, whatever. Yeah, okay, he was stronger at bringing the ball up the field, but there was those moments where he had to defend, and he was put in a situation where he had to step up, and he did, man.
It's
he was
always
a big time
always
player.
funny whenever like me and Al talk about soccer, and it always hits me like randomly. There's the most controversial takes. Me and him always somehow agree on it. like everybody will gas up like David Beckham, and we'll be the first to say fucking free kick hairstyling merchant. We'll compare him to like Juninho or other good free kick takers. And everyone's like, "Yo, are you fried? Like he was actually really good." But yet, me and him will be in the same format. That Roberto Carlos take, I completely agree. All he was, oh yeah, I scored the impossible goal, and I can score an outside of the boot fucking thunder cunt of a shot from 40 yards out.
Shot. Cool.
That's sick.
But player for player
Marcelo.
in the position,
Yeah.
I'm taking Marcelo every day, man. 10 times out of 10, I'm taking Marcelo.
A, I would agree with you, Marcelo over the three.
Mhm.
And B, I would agree with you, Lam over Ashley Cole. Because
Yeah.
again, Ashley Cole was an overrated English left back.
Yeah.
It's because that's probably the only decent left back England has ever had. So he's put on a pedestal. But
So his biggest highlight of his career was that picture he took at Roma when he was standing off to the side. Literally, the mole. You type in Ashley Cole on Google, and that's literally like the first picture that
it's
pops
true.
up of him.
It's true.
So
He wasn't like.
what was he really known for?
I remember there was so much hype around that deal. We're like, yeah, we got Ashley Cole, generational player. Blood, we got him at 34 years old, and he didn't even want to learn another language. He was there for the vibes and the aura. Like, what do you want? But okay, Philip Lahm / Marcelo will say it because we both agreed on those. Whatever. Jeez, my chest got a little burning sensation. Okay, midfielders. We're gonna go with. I'm trying to think. I feel like I could literally say the midfield three of Real Madrid right now because it's well, not right now, but I'm saying like
they're
the Casemiro, Modric, Cruz, because that's a generational three. But I'm not going to. What I'm gonna start off by saying is, let's say a guy like both CDMs, not really comparable because one is like distinctly better than the other. But regardless, Makaleli versus Gattuso. Both CDMs through and through CDMs. That's why I'm saying those two.
I mean, I would love to take Gattuso, but I think I'm taking Makaleli in there. Gattuso's a fucking animal. He'll fucking eat the opponent's ear off.
Even if I said Casemiro in that defensive mid role, I would give it to Makaleli as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like Makaleli in that role, that's one of the best of all time.
Kind of created that position.
Yeah, he was through and through defensive mid.
Yeah.
But don't at me and tell me he's better than like a Busquets or any of those guys.
No.
Because that's a different version of a CDM.
Each their own. He was great, but there has been better.
Yeah. Okay. Pirlo or Frank Lampard. Kind of different roles, but still some.
No, this is. I'll give it to you. This is a very good, good comparison, good competition. I feel like between them both of them, they're not far off. That I'm like, okay, Pirlo, or like the other way around, but that actually is very close. It is, man. Like, for me, dude, Lampard was probably the best English set like midfielder.
Oh no, I won't
he was
disagree.
He was better than Gerrard. No matter how people fucking hype up him, Gerrard was fucking trash.
Yeah, he was.
Scholes was literally hot fucking trash, and he was a fucking ginger.
Don't give me some
shit. I don't even know how he's in any conversation. And then you have Lampard, who he was actually a phenomenal player for what he was. He was that English midfield. He's what made them so good. And it's not his fault that the other guys were so fucking shite around him that they couldn't fucking do shit. And one of them fucking just kept slipping. It is very close, but in the two, again, I'm not stupid. I just can see the facts and everything. I'm gonna go with Pirlo on that one.
I wouldn't disagree with you.
No, I'm not thinking anything like that. I'll give. I'm not gonna talk shit about Lampard. I love him. If he was matched up against maybe someone else, it might have went his way. But player for player, like Pirlo throughout his career, but to be honest, and I'm not trying to be biased here with Juve, but you look at those first 2 seasons when he came to Juve, you know, I'll kind of have that argument with a Milan fan that those two, the way he was playing and just how much more he sat back and kind of developed a new thing as a player, were probably the best years we've seen of Pirlo.
Yeah.
You know, other fans would be like, oh, but he was better with Milan. He won Champions League. This, okay, I get it. He won more with Milan. I get that. He won Champions League, all that stuff. Yes. But you look at those last years at already in his 30s, the way he was playing, dude, he hurt his fucking right ankle and played a whole game with his left foot because. And he was pinging past. I don't know if I saw that clip was like circling last week, so that's why I just remembered it. I don't know if you saw it, but that's
him and Barzali were talking about it.
Like,
that's why
Barzali was saying like that's fucked. Like the guy literally said, "Oh my, he rolled his right ankle, couldn't make it past his right." That's okay. I'll just pass to my left the whole game.
And he like if you see the clip too, like the video of him like doing it, they got the video, whatever, and he was still like bombing it, making people
passing better than some guys that nowadays that they're like, oh yeah, this guy here, he's a generational midfielder, this, that, whatever, these young talents, whatever. Passing better with his weak foot than some of these guys here.
Yeah, it's
like insane. So for me, like player for player, I'm taking Pirlo.
I agree. I'm taking Pirlo. I do think every English midfielder of that era was very, very overrated. Mm-hmm. But I will agree that Lampard was actually the one guy that stood out and backed that overratedness.
We're agreeing a lot.
Overratedness. I don't know if that's even a word.
But we're trying to make up for it.
Yeah, exactly. I think this will be a very hard question to ask.
I answer in 2 seconds.
But that's the thing. You probably
every time you're like, oh, this is going to be tough.
This one,
like the most obvious answer
because I feel like they both kind of have the same career-ish.
Okay.
I'll say.
Okay.
Mesut Ozil.
Okay.
And Kaká. And you got to think, when I'm saying Kaká, I'm talking about like that peak of Milan that he won that Ballon d'Or,
I'm thinking about fucking Madrid when he sat on the bench majority of the time, fucking heating up Ronaldo's chair and fucking making sure that he had some water and milk ready for him when he came off. No. Prime Kaká, like Ballon d'Or years with Milan. That's what I'm thinking about right now compared to, I don't even know which version of Ozil, because Real Madrid was good. Arsenal was fucking even on a shit Arsenal.
Well, we'll have to say Real Madrid version though, technically, because that's when Mourinho coached him.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. But I mean, again, you looked at him in that final, and who was on that team, and he was one of the best players in that final. It says a lot compared to who was on that team.
Yeah,
I love them both as players. Ozil, I think I started liking a lot later on. Like I didn't really, not that I didn't respect him, but I didn't really care for him at the beginning. I was like, whatever. This guy's just an overhyped German. He'll probably die off in a couple of years. I'm not going to hear about him. It's whatever. Liked him even more when he posted that thing on Juve a couple months ago that apparently he's a massive Juve fan. He's like, oh, the one team I never played for, my love. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Why don't you make a move to Juve? What the hell, man? We needed you, dude. That would have been sick if he played for us. Are you fucking crazy, dude?
Imagine Ozil
on Juve. Like, come on. But looking again at both of them, I'm building a team who I need to kind of fit in there. As much as I would love to say Kaká, I think I'm going to go Ozil on this one. Yeah, man. The funny you even said Ozil, because I think it was last week, I was just laying on the couch and I just got stuck in this fucking loop of like TikTok fucking compilation videos. And I was watching I was literally watching like 3 videos in a row about Ozil. One video was literally 2 minutes long, and it was that goal. Just the whole video was the one goal from different angles. When he went around the goalie, the player, made all these guys dive in. Like, dude, that goal, like just the patience and everything in that goal, I was like, man, people don't understand how beautiful this is. Like watching all those different angles, I was like, damn.
And you know what, dude?
That was probably one of the most beautiful goals.
Yeah.
Like just elegance to it. There was nothing crazy to it, but it was just so class and elegant, man.
Because as you get older, you start to appreciate like different things about the game. So like when I was younger, it was those fucking outrageous like
thunder cunts. You wanted a fucking banger 40 yards out.
This, that, whatever. Now it's like, then I went through an era of appreciating like last stitch tackles, like slide tackles, because that's a dying art, like a real crunch or like whatever. Now it's like the elegance of the sport and seeing like these big IQ moments. And like Ozil was the epitome of that. The fact that he looked at the guy, faked the shot, like dinked it ever so cutely above the goal. He didn't lob it high. It was just a cute little dink that it fell perfectly right there. Fakes one guy out, looks up. He's going to shoot. Oh, wait, there's another guy coming. Hold on, though.
Fake that one out.
Him out, too. And then just like passes the ball in the net.
Yeah, no, man.
Elegance, big brain, high IQ. It was something.
And honestly, as I was going to put another, probably don't need more, but I was going to put another like, little jersey order. And not going to lie, I was actually looking like he was. I literally have a picture on my phone. It was him on Madrid and Henri, that burgundy 02 jersey long sleeve.
That would be gangster.
How fucking sick is that, dude?
Actually. Literally, Henri's a bump. No, I'm kidding.
No, shut the fuck up, man. I fucking love Henri. I love him even more seeing all these like the CBS clips.
I think that's what made me like him even more. Actually, believe it or not, is when he retired, I started to like him more. But anyways, going back to the team because we went astray there. I agree.
We're loving Ozil too much.
I do agree. I think Ozil over Kaká. Don't get me wrong, Kaká was definitely a fucking specimen.
A Ballon d'Or winner. We're talking about.
Yeah. But I do think Ozil just a little bit more could like change the game for you. We're gonna go right wing here. This is tough, man, because it's not really that tough. Di Maria or Gareth Bale. Or you know what? Samuel Eto'o. So we'll make it exclusive here.
Okay. Samuel Eto'o or
Gareth Bale will still stick with. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of using Di Maria. No, we'll go with Gareth Bale. We'll go with Gareth Bale.
So if you're gonna go Di Maria or Eto'o, I mean, or Bale, it's gonna be Di Maria.
Yeah.
Bale or Eto'o though. Probably gonna. I mean, that's kind of easy for me. I'm probably going Bale with that one. I mean, Eto'o was good, agree. But like, I think I remembered him in soccer for like 3 years, and he just disappeared after that. He won with Inter, and he just fucked off. And I think never seen him again.
Me and Eto'o, like everybody gets mad at me for my take on Eto'o. I think he's a little bit overrated.
Yeah.
When people come out and say he's the best African of all time, this and that, like I could literally
not even top 3 Africans.
Yeah, like I could name you 5 better than him that I would prefer on my team over Eto'o. Was he fast? Did he have good feet? Yes, of course, but definitely I think overrated. So I'm gonna agree, Bale.
What you can say about the best African? He had probably one of the best, like, individual, like one seasons as an African player. Like that season, like that year with Inter. I don't know if it was just him leaving Barca and like wanting revenge or just him trying to prove something, but it was like a whole different player and he was unstoppable. Like he was just a fucking completely different player. Then he just fell off after that. You look at that year, probably one of the best as an African player, but not even top 5 African players of all time.
Definitely going to agree with that.
But yeah, that was pretty easy.
This one, listen, I know everyone also is going to say, why haven't we mentioned Ronaldo? We're not going to mention him.
Guys, come on.
Because if you compare him to anyone, you're going to choose Ronaldo over that person.
Ronaldo or Messi. And you're going to be like, Ronaldo, Messi, Ronaldo.
Those guys were also coached. Ronaldo was also coached by both guys. So we're not going to keep on going down that vicious rabbit hole.
Ronaldo.
Yeah. Like, what are we going to do at that point? So I'm going to say left wing or left mid, whatever you want to say. Eden Hazard.
Okay.
Or what if I do put Di Maria here then? It's out of position, I know, but why not?
I mean, Di Maria he has played on the left before, so not really.
And Hazard is exclusive to Chelsea, so technically Real Madrid too, but he barely played at that point. Whatever. So Hazard versus Di Maria.
Hazard versus Di Maria.
Hazard. Sorry. I think Di Maria is generational, of course.
I was going to say,
but Hazard on Chelsea, I don't think anybody realizes what we actually were watching with him. He's another one of those Ozil bracket guys where you didn't really realize what was going on.
No, he was just like he was an animal. No one expected it when he first arrived, and the stuff he accomplished over there, and I mean, again, wasn't through a lot of the years that he was playing with Chelsea, not like they had a very strong team, but dudes, there was a lot of games that I would watch, and he would pretty much win those games by himself. Like, he would literally carry the team on his back.
And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of people took him for granted because he was in that era of like peak Ronaldo, peak Messi. Mm-hmm. So Hazard was always swept under the rug unless you watched him. And I could look at you, and there's been some seasons where I would actually look at you and say Hazard was second best in the world, even arguably, maybe, never first because it was always Messi in my world. But, like he was definitely up there. Mm-hmm. He was definitely challenging given like how he was performing. And how unstoppable he really fucking was.
Yeah. And you look at Di Maria, and he's played in pretty much every big league. He's a big time player. He's a big moment player. He scores, when you need him. He scored in multiple finals that Argentina or Real Madrid won, and he played a big part in that. He's not just a guy that, he's a great player for you, and then when it comes around where you need him, he's nowhere to be found. Di Maria is him. He's definitely that guy.
I agree. And that's why it's tough saying Hazard for me.
But the only thing I would say that I would lean on Hazard, and I'm going to choose Hazard, is I feel like you look at their career and you look at it all, okay, even with Hazard's fat years at Real Madrid, just his Chelsea years, I feel like he did more and just accomplished more as a player in growth and everything than Di Maria, just because I feel like Di Maria spent majority of his time with PSG. And, no one really watches the games. No one cares for the fucking league. Champions League, they couldn't do fucking nothing, even with all the guys that they had. So, with the World Cup, he scored in that final. In the Copa America, he scored in that final, and they won those games. But I think in this debate, I would take Hazard on my team.
Like, I would definitely look at you and say, Di Maria is one of those guys that obviously generational, fantastic, really like underrated baller.
Yeah.
But I'd also look at you and say he was always a great supporting guy. You know what I mean? Like, he was never the star of a team, and I think he wanted it to be that way too.
Yeah.
Because every team he played on, they had their star already.
Yeah.
When he was on Real Madrid, he already had Ronaldo and Benzema. When he went to PSG, there was already Ibra and
you saw it that 1 year when he went to United, where he was that star. He was asked to be that guy. He couldn't do it, or he didn't want to do it. Like he didn't like that role, which is totally fine. Some people thrive and they just become the best number two that there is.
Exactly.
But he was that kind of guy, and Hazard, I feel, was just he even if he wasn't even looked at as number one, he wanted to prove to people, and he wanted to show, nah, fuck that, fuck you, I am number one. I'm him.
Yeah, and that's where I think it separates Hazard from Di Maria, and why I think Hazard over Di Maria.
Yeah.
Last player. I feel like this could be tough too, but we'll figure it out. Didier Drogba or I'll say Ibrahimovic instead of Benzema, because I was really thinking Benzema, but I'm like, no, he's always been the same Benzema. Like, he's always been world class, whatever. So we'll do it exclusive at this point.
Drogba versus Ibra.
Yeah,
I'm taking Ibra. Yeah, Joe, I'm not going to talk shit about Drogba or chirp him, nothing like that. Have nothing but respect for him. I used to own fucking 2 Drogba jerseys back in the day, so I really did used to like the guy. Like, I was a striker. He was a guy, because at that time too, like I always loved like guys like him, like Rooney, that were just those strikers that were just big, strong. Dogs. Because that's the kind of guy I was. Like, I was just, I wasn't skillful, but I would just fucking body through guys and just had a thunder cunt of a shot. So like those guys here, like I had other than Juve, that was my first 2 jerseys that I bought outside, was a Wayne Rooney United jersey and a Drogba Chelsea jersey. Okay. Love the guys, but as a striker, man, Ibra was just different, man. Yeah. He was like. Not to the extent of like a Messi and Ronaldo, but he was the closest damn thing to it during that time. He was the only guy that still had his name mentioned during that whole Messi and Ronaldo era. Yeah. Like, people talked about them, but you always heard Ibra's name just circling, whether that was him, being a prick and just trying to make his name in there. But hey, it worked. And He was scoring fucking a fucking bicycle kick from like 70 yards out. Who decides to do that? Like, who in their right mind's like, yeah, I'm going to do this right now.
And he made Sweden relevant at a point, man. It's hard to argue
those goals of PSG. I understand, okay, it's PSG, but still, corner kick comes in. This guy wraps his leg around the defender backwards and backheels it in. Like, who scores it? Who does that? But that was Ibra. Ibra just, he found a way always to score a goal.
Him or Brimovic.
Yeah, him or Brimovic. I like it.
That's him.
Yeah, because he is him.
I've always had a love for arrogant players that back it up. You know, like, look at one of my favorite players of all time, Totti. Most arrogant fucking prick there is. But he backed it up. You look at Ibra, like, that's him too, right? Like, he backed it up everywhere he went. You know, like, he was an animal. And even when he went to the MLS and was being chirped for that, he somehow made it above.
Took out a whole fucking page of the LA Times. Yeah. And what did it say? I'm here, or you're welcome.
Yeah, it just said you're welcome.
You're welcome. Signs Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And then first game, guy comes off the bench, scores a goal from half, and then scores another one to win it. Yeah. Like, he just does. He talks, but then he does it. Yeah. He can follow up with what he talks about. So. He's just that fucking special player.
Man. I would agree with you again. Ibra over Drogba.
Yeah.
If you have to.
It's very simple.
Your coach now, Mourinho or Ancelotti?
Mourinho, Ancelotti, pound for pound. Got to stick with my Italian, man. Not just because he's Italian, but I genuinely think career for career, Ancelotti has had a more successful career than Mourinho. Yes, you know, Mourinho gets that extra points and those bonus points for doing it with a Porto side and Inter, which, both not really strong teams for what was in the competition at the time. I'll give it to him for that. I'll give him, winning Roma their first trophy since the Colosseum was still working. And, he accomplished a lot of things. But Ancelotti, man, is just Ancelotti. He's won it in every league.
I agree, though.
He's still doing. He went to Everton at one point, and people were like, "Oh yeah, his career is done."
He's there for the aura.
He did nothing, and then he just dipped, and all of a sudden it was like, "Oh, remember, I'm just looking for a job." He gets a job there, and then just wins the Champions League with them, and just reinvents Real Madrid and himself as this new thing. So, for me, we've had this conversation. He's not the best coach of all time, but he's definitely up there, and will always be in the conversations of the best coaches. Yeah. So Ancelotti for me,
again,
easy.
I agree. Last 5 things you said, I agreed on. Ancelotti, I do agree. I've always said he's one of my what?
I said I'm not that stupid.
Yeah, no. Ancelotti's always been my favorite coach of all time. Like, once I started understanding the coach, like not the mentality, what a coach actually fucking does and their role. Yeah, that's when I started to appreciate Ancelotti more and more and more. And I think no brainer. Yeah, Mourinho, you're cool, I guess.
Whatever, you're nothing special. You're not the special one.
If you're the special one, then I don't know what you would call Ancelotti. The perfect one.
We just start something.
Clipping that. Remember?
I think we just started something right now.
At a minute 12.
But yeah, I'll say I'm pretty sure. I think that's it for the episode.
I'm actually gonna.
We kind of dragged on a little bit longer than we were hoping for. But when you start getting into a good conversation and start going into it wasn't really a debate today. I wouldn't call it, because we were agreeing on a lot of things, which is different than other times and normal times. But when you start getting into topics like that and good topics, you don't want to start talking. You don't want to stop talking. And we probably could have gone with this if we had another coach in there. Probably until we could have done this till 2 hours. But we don't want to keep you guys here for that long. We appreciate. Hopefully you're hearing this part now and you've stayed the whole hour and 13 minutes. Yeah. We love you guys. We appreciate you. You're our number one fans. We'll buy you a jersey. Yeah. So only if you're listening till now, you'll hear that I offered you guys a jersey. So we'll know who the real fans are about that one. But
I'll get a DM about it soon.
Thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Watch our newest videos up there. Leave a comment. Let us know you're watching. For this video, let us know if you hear about the free jersey. I just want to see, how long you guys are watching the episode. Maybe you actually do get it soon. I'll let you know. Maybe a Euro Cup jersey. Just saying. Nice little Chiesa jersey. But no, guys, we'll hear you next week. We'll see you next week. Ciao, ciao, babies.
See you later.